OK, yeah, Spurs heavily criticised there by Jamie this morning on Sky Sports Fan Club. There was lots more to that as well. You can watch it on the Sky Sports app, and a lot of it is to do with the setup. Now, Jamie also criticised Spurs conceding goals from range, and they have. No team has conceded more goals from outside the box this season than Spurs. Another one came over the weekend against Arsenal. They're on 9 goals there alongside Nottingham Forest and Wolves, who are also very much in that relegation fight alongside Spurs, you have to say now. Over the last 10 Premier League games, Spurs have been outrun by opponents on 9 occasions. Guess which one of these 10 games they actually won? Yep, that's Palace away, where they actually outrun their opponent by almost 2 kilometres against Oliver Glasner's side. Now, generally, things to think about here when we're talking about distance covered, teams run less when they have the ball. So the question then is, did Spurs dominate possession in any of these games? We'll take the Arsenal game for an example there. Spurs only had 39% of the ball. So you would expect Arsenal to have run less. But actually, Arsenal ran more, 4.29 kilometres more than Spurs. And the Newcastle game also stands out really to me. The home game against Newcastle, possession in that game actually fairly closer to 50-50 in fact, but Spurs ran almost 6 kilometres less than Newcastle on that occasion. Does that also buy into what Jamie was talking about? Let's have a closer look at the setup then, and Spurs press in particular against Arsenal. Now, Tudor a lot of the time wanted his players in certain phases to go man-to-man, but Spurs struggled to execute. Now, one of the problems was the distances they had to cover. Check out Jed Spence here, running distance, trying to get closer to the opponent. The ball goes long over the top as Mickey van der Ven had to shuffle across to pick up Bukayo Saka, and it almost created an opportunity for Arsenal. And that is reflected in the numbers as well. So Spurs covered lots of distance pressing. They ran, they tried to close down the opponent. They covered 2.8 kilometres as a team pressing. That ranks 6th out of all the Spurs games. So 6th out of 27 games for Spurs in this Premier League season. It was also in their top 3 for sprinting presses. So when the players were running to try and close down the opponent, they were at a sprinting pace. But again, is that down to those large distances they have to cover? They've got to run hard to even get close to the opponent. And when we talk about a coordinated press, that's a team press in this situation. That's defined as 2 or more players closing down an opposition player. So that's defined as a team press. That was 9th out of 27 games. They did that on 33 occasions. So it was supposed to be a coordinated press, but was that really the response that Igor Tudor got? And when they did eventually get close to the opponent, they couldn't create a turnover. So this is team pressing, creating turnovers. Just 24.2% of the time they managed to regain the ball. And that ranks 21st out of 27 games for Spurs this season. So I guess the question is, was it a failure of the plan from Igor Tudor or failure of the execution of the plan by the players, Jimmy?
I think if you're going to play that formation, you can't really press. You have to wait. And then from certain triggers, you go. But that's why you're always going to be late, because the left wing back becomes a left winger. The left-sided centre half becomes a left back. So you're shuffling all the time, as you just saw.
Shadows almost, aren't you?
Well, yeah, you're always going to be really late because you're shuffling a lot. That formation is really to wait, get them in at the right back or on the side, and then you go. But they are not allowed to switch the ball, because on the other side, people are going to be free when you lock in. And that happened way too often, that they were shuffling and then the ball came out and they went to the other side and then they have to shuffle again. And so, yeah, you're chasing shadows, really. I like the 4-3-3 or the 4-2-3-1, where people run less and they are there, you know. And it is, if you want to press, then I want the 4-3-3, because you're closer and it is simpler, you know, and it's clearer. A little bit what Man United has done now. They don't press all the time, but when they press, they go from a 4-3-3 position, and everybody knows where to go,
So-
and you can lock in.
So when does 3 at the back actually work then?
3 at the back works when you have the ball, because you can get overloads, yeah, and when you want to play a counter-attacking game and wait. For me, that's how it works really. If you look at the most successful team that has done it and won the league, that was Chelsea with Conte.
Right.
3 at the back. They had wing backs that could run. They had centre halves that were really mobile, and they had 2 in the midfield that run like hell. Kante and whoever, yeah?
Yeah.
And then on top they had Hazard, Costa, and William, and they could drive with the ball. They dribbled, but when they didn't have the ball, they sat back, they waited, and they counter-attacked. That's what it was. They counter-attacked, and they went away from home. They sat back. The famous game against Man City, they sat back and they counter-attacked and they won. That's how they won games, and that's how Crystal Palace has been winning games. You know.
So it could work, but it couldn't work for Spurs.
It could work, but they were pressing in that formation.
Yeah.
So
don't. Yes. Stick to the rules of 3 at the back, basically.
Well, everybody has got their philosophy. I'm saying it. If you're going to play with that formation, I think it's going to be hard to press.
Okay. I liked that a lot. I learnt a lot. Brilliant. Okay. Coming up next, after a decade of criticism over their spending, is it time